Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/MaliciousCompliance. In today's episode, go get another offer, okay? Read the syllabus. I can't pre-close to leave early? Fine, then I'll just leave later. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Go get another offer, okay? This happened last summer. I'd been working at an office for about 3 years. We were starting to come back to a hybrid schedule. Perhaps not coincidentally, not long after I caught COVID and I was just so tired for next month. My workload had been getting ever higher and higher. Every time I tell my manager I had too much to do and we needed to offload some of it to someone else, he'd tell me, "Well, you're doing a good job, keep it up." He generally didn't listen to anything you told him, and my job was simpler the more I avoided him. I'd previously been at a place I enjoyed, but I took a chance on a move to fill some experience in my career I felt I needed. Even up to this point, despite the burnout, I felt like I was in the position I wanted to be in. Then my manager starts telling me about how he's working on hiring someone who used to work there before I did, who was at the place I had come from. He has the same level of experience as me, but he's commanding a salary 20+% higher than I was making. This really upset me. I tried to let it go, but after a few days I confronted my manager saying that if the new guy was coming in at a higher salary, then I should get a bump in pay too. Go get another offer. I can't do anything unless you get another offer. Something in my head snapped. Between COVID fatigue and burnout, I realized how exhausted I was and that it was time to leave. That day I called my previous employer, and 3 days later I had signed a job offer. I'm now making that 20% more, have an appropriate amount of work, and report to a manager who listens to what I say. Read the syllabus. I'd been reading posts from this Reddit for years and I finally decided I'll post. Though it's a nerd problem, I thought it belonged here. Years ago, when I was in college, I was obsessed with getting a perfect GPA. It's a long story why, but I wanted one. Everything went great for the first 3 years of college, and there were no issues. That is, until I took this one awful computer networks class. The class itself was super easy, and for the most part, I had no issues with the material. I got the highest score on the first test and actually helped teach one of the labs since my recent internship taught me a lot of the skills that the lab required. Then came the second test. I was president of a club that had to travel for a competition on the day we had a critical lesson for questions on the second test. I made up the lesson after also telling the prof that I'd been gone 2 weeks in advance. A small percent of my grade went to participation, but his syllabus specifically said that the grade was based on participation and not specific days attended. I get through the test with a decent score and think nothing of it. I ace the third exam, and he inputs our final grades. I noted that he specifically lowered my grade to an A-, which ruined my GPA. He lowered my participation by a massive amount of points. When I asked what the hell that was about, he said that I missed a critical class and missed the question on the test related to that class. When I asked him how that impacted my participation score, he didn't give an answer other than I should read the syllabus. So, I did. I wrote a 1-page letter outlining his entire participation policy and even gave specific examples of how I participated in the class. I copied the dean of the school, since I actually knew them from an unrelated incident, and sent him the letter. Needless to say, I have never seen a professor backtrack so hard in my life. He apologized profusely and gave me the right score, literally needed to add 3 freaking points. It was probably one of the satisfying arguments that I ever won. I can't pre-close to leave early? Fine, then I'll just leave later. This is long, so bear with me. I work at a fast food store, and during the holidays hours had been cut for slow business. I work the closing shifts, and I'm usually by myself when dealing with rushes or when it comes to closing down the store. So I have been trying to pre-close when I come in for my shift. This may include restocking and change use by dates, or cleaning out the toppings and placing it in a tub, then replacing it back into the fridge. Sometimes it gets messy since I'm the only one there, but I try my best to do it when there's no one in front of me, with the exception of a few. One day I come in and my shift leader tells me I can't pre-close any later than 9 o'clock. We close at 10:15, but for one person alone to clean the entire front is insane. I'd never leave. My manager printed out an entire sheet and you had to go through the entire list before actually starting to close. And even if you finish everything on the list, if it wasn't 9 o'clock you still couldn't pre-close. Here's the malicious compliance. My coworker is the one who taught me the method of pre-closing so we can get out at 10:45 instead of 12. I refused to do anything but what was in front of me. My job was to serve the customers, not to be prepping food or cooking the food. So I didn't help out at other stations like I used to. I made sure my station was prim and proper. Glass shield so clean it looked like it wasn't even there. When there was a rush, I took my time with each customer and really got to know them, as some are regulars. But because I am the only one in the front, I usually rush to kill my line. So no, I'm not all smiles and conversation as we got lectured on. Because I did this, I didn't get to start closing until after closing time, which meant I didn't leave till 12:30. So because you wouldn't let me stick to my pre-closing routine, which got me out faster and cost you less money, I'm milking every minute to abide to your rules. And since I didn't help with other stations in my downtime, me, who was supposed to be the last station standing, besides dishes, who finishes around the same time I do, is still seeing sections that need cleaning because we also didn't have enough people at night. My manager the other day stayed the closing shift with us. My shift leader told me that my manager asked her why I left so late the other day. But when he worked the closing shift, he understood why I left so late. Because that day we were sort of swamped. And I made sure he saw me following his rules step by step. He left later than I did that day and I left at 12:45. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.